Charlie Kao in Indaba, Durban, South Africa. Indaba is one of the major African travel trade exhibition with 1,000 exhibitors. I'm here, honored to be here with Rohan Vos, who's the CEO and owner of Rovos Rail Tours. For those of you who have heard about this magical mystery tour on rail in Africa, Mr. Vos is the one who put it together. Please tell us about this experience.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. We have 5 trains running in South Africa at the moment, long distance trains, overnight in other words, and our shortest trip is in fact 3 nights, or 2 nights should I say, 3 days. We carry a maximum of 72 passengers on a train. It's all of a 5-star level. And we travel from Pretoria, which is the head office, down to Cape Town, which is 1,600 kilometers. We travel from Pretoria to Victoria Falls. We do Durban, where you are at the moment. That also happens every second week. And we then have long journeys, a 9-day golf journey. We have 9 days to Namibia. We have 15 days from Cape Town to Dar es Salaam. That's the longest trip we do. And also we have a trip between Pretoria and Cape Town, which takes 15 days. So you can go to Cape Town in 3 days with us, or you can do a 15-day journey to Cape Town, depending upon your time and your pocket. And we've been, as I say, operating since 1989, so we're 28 odd years old now. And we like to think that, you know, not only we the best train in the world, but we offer the most varied trips of any trains in the world today.
Besides experiencing the luxurious facilities, accommodations, food, entertainment on board the train, what will your guests experience on the ground at these stops?
Well,
how do you do that?
We have an off-train excursion virtually every day. And let's take the Cape Town run for argument's sake. In the evening we will be stopping at Maatjiesfontein, giving people a 2-3 hour time off the train there. And the next day we stop at Kimberley and we do a tour of the Diamond Museum and the area around there. But that's a very interesting one, of course, Kimberley being the commencement of the commercial South Africa. And on the Namibia trip, for argument's sake, we stop at the Fish River Canyon, we stop at Windhoek for a tour, we take people into the desert to Sossusvlei for an overnight, we go to Etosha Pan. So every day there's something of interest, and if it's a big visit and worthwhile, then we will stop overnight at that place of interest. So 28
years ago, tourism facilities and transportation roads, air routes were limited. Is that the reason you said, hey, luxury trains is a way that would take care of that problem?
No, I actually started the train as a family project. It was going to be a caravan, just for I've got 4 kids. And we were going to take the dogs and the motorbikes and everything with us and travel around the country. So that's how it got going. And then the railways said that I could sell tickets. So suddenly that idea became interesting. And the train went from 4 carriages to 7 for the first journey, and then up to 14, and then up to 20. So it started off as a hobby and then ended up as a business. And when it did end up as a business, in fact, I must say, the first 5 years I would have reversed the decision at the drop of a hat, because I lost, the previous 20 years' work all went down, not the drain, but went into keeping this project afloat. And only the 6th, 7th year did we start recovering and making any money. But in the interim, I nearly lost everything. So
wow.
It was very difficult getting it off the ground. And the reason, if you ask me why, is, like an airline, you have fixed costs from A to B. and your occupancy factor is pretty critical. If you don't fill it, or at least get past your break-even mark, you're going to be bankrupt very quickly.
Because the first few years, nobody heard of you. That was tough to reach the break-even point, I suppose.
That's right, and so in fact that's the other side of the coin is that to get your name known throughout the world takes time. And even though we had a lot fewer trips in the beginning, we were running sort of once a week at the most. It was very difficult to get the name out there, and of course we were running out of money. You know, the hardware. I think it's a mistake that a lot of people make is that to build a hotel or a lodge or buy an aeroplane, you know, it's a fixed investment. You understand all that. What you don't know is how long it's going to take to break even.
Are any of the 4 children involved in the business?
Yes, I've got my one daughter working for us full-time in Pretoria, and the other daughter does the brochures and all our printed matter. So there we go. And my wife is very active in the business as well. She looks after all the softs and gift shop and things like that, but very busy.
And your carriages, where do you have them built? I mean, where do you buy them? Where do you have them fixed up?
We buy scrap carriages, and I mean scrap, from all over the place. Whenever I see something standing on a railway line somewhere and it looks terrible, then I try to buy it. And we take it to our workshops in Pretoria. We have about 150 people at the moment, and that's all they're doing is building.
Wow.
We have a total staff of 380, of which about 120 odd are on the trains. So the other 260 are either sales, marketing, administration, maintenance, or in the building project. We in fact are building, and if you saw the carriages, they are completely stripped inside. There's nothing at all, they're just frames.
Just pure luxury is what I see.
Well, we're building, I think it's 5-7, we're building 12 at the moment. So we expect to turn out a carriage a month, from scrap to operational and revenue earning.
I've only tried the Orient Express between Bangkok and Singapore, and their teak wood, I think it is one of the main features of the interior. What are the features that describes your interior?
Well, first of all, when I started, I fell in love with the 1924 dining car. In fact, that was the big draw. So I decided that we would maintain the Edwardian style, and obviously having had the private caravan, there were no expenses spared initially, and especially not in space. So I took a carriage and decided that we wanted a room and we wanted a bathroom and a lounge, so that slowly became half a carriage. And then the other half, were 2 of the kids, and then I had another coach for the other 2 kids and staff, and then we had a dining car, and I had an office and all that sort of thing. So with that as the background, when I started the train, we already had what is today our biggest suite, which is half a carriage, and the kids had a third of a carriage. So we just maintained that policy, and of course that policy made us the most spacious train in the world at the time. And we also had bathroom en suite. You must remember, in 1986, there were no trains with
If I'm not mistaken, the Orient Express for the European route still do not have bathrooms. You have to. They overnight is at hotels.
They don't have showers and that sort of thing.
Yeah. So
in fact, we were the pioneers really at the time, and it was just by error. It wasn't by design, because of the family caravan connection. So it grew from there, and we stuck with that policy. And today we only carry 72 people on a 20-carriage train. So if you took coach tonnage per kilometre, we are way ahead of any of our competition.
And your customers come from which part of the world?
At this moment in time, America, UK and Germany are running equally at about 20% each.
And
Scandinavia is about 10%. We get good support from Australia, New Zealand area, probably another 8 or 9%. and then others bits and pieces from
Baby boomer generation, usually?
Pardon?
Baby boomer generation, 50?
I suppose so, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, well,
You're getting millennials? The rich
our,
financial market type folks?
Yes, a few, but not that many. We get quite a lot of, funnily enough, it's both ends of the scale. We have the honeymooners on board.
Oh.
Which parents or whatever's paid for, and because it's quite expensive on the train. And in fact, South Africa being a long-haul destination, it costs quite a bit to get here and then to travel and go on all the five-star product. So we have that end of the scale, and then your sort of young children's, between 30 and 45, I suppose, people are busy with families, etc. So no. But after that, from 45 up, that's probably our strongest suite. I would say our average age is probably 55.
And your website address, Rohan?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's just rovos.com.
Nice and simple.
There we go.
Thank you
Very
so
simple.
very much. Pleasure.
There we go. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right.